AFL draft is a bit like the lottery. Sometimes you win, more often than not, you lose. Scouts and recruiters spend months spying on children with binoculars, writing down their names and numbers, and then coming to their homes to talk to them and their parents, all in the hopes that they can lead their AFL team to premiership glory. Whilst it sounds weird to say it like that, for many kids growing up who play football, getting drafted to the AFL is the final step in a lifelong dream. However, for some players, what they thought was a dream come true turns into a horrible nightmare. Nobody means to be bad. In fact, these players are trying their very best to be good. But for whatever reason, whether it be personal or football related, some players just never make it in the AFL system, sometimes condemning their clubs to years of what ifs. But before we start, let's discuss the criteria I used for picking this list. When doing this list, I considered three main factors. Firstly, what draft picked in the draft you were. Secondly, how many games of AFL you played, with a particular focus on how many games you played for the club that drafted you. And finally, what players were taken after you in the draft. So without further ado, let's bring up a reminder for clubs and their supporters on the times that they got their hopes up, only for them to be squashed and stamped on. Here are my top 10 worst AFL draft picks of the last 10 years. Starting off our list, at number 10, it's Kieran Lovell. Lovell was drafted by Hawthorn at pick 22 of the 2015 AFL draft. Lovell only played 2 senior games for Hawthorn across 3 seasons, which was a decent effort given the quality of the Hawthorn team he had to break into. There have been some notable players which were taken after Lovell in the draft, well-known names including Josh Dunkley, Mason Redman, Jordan Dawson and Nathan Broad were all drafted after Lovell at pick 22. Whilst Hawthorn may have won 3 premierships in the last 10 years, any of these mentioned players could have brought Hawthorn a magical 4th consecutive flag. Pick number 9 belongs to Jordan Gallucci. Gallucci was drafted by the Adelaide Crows at pick 15 in the 2016 AFL draft. Whilst not as strong as the 2018 draft, the 2016 draft has still produced plenty of household names, including the 150th best player in the competition, Tim Taranto, as well as Hugh McCluggage and North Melbourne captain Jai Simpkin. However, it is really the players drafted after Jordan Gallucci which will come back to bite the Crows. Tim English, Shai Bolton and Tom Stewart, all Australians and all stars of their respective teams. Whilst Gallucci did manage to play 27 games for the Crows, it will come as little solace to the Crom faithful given the names taken after Gallucci. Number 8 on the list goes to Ben Lennon. Lennon was drafted at pick 12 in the 2013 AFL draft by Richmond, but only managed to play 21 games across 4 AFL seasons. But to his credit, he did manage to secure a Rising Star nomination during his playing career. However, it clearly appears that his star did not rise very high. Lennon was drafted 1 pick earlier than Brownlow medalist Patrick Cripps, and was also drafted before other notable names, including Matt Crouch, Zach Merritt, Toby Nankervis, Tom Barrass, Alir Alir, and Jeremy McGovern. Whilst Richmond have had a fairly successful period over the last decade, it could even have been more so had they drafted one of these other stars instead. Lucky number 7 goes to Jared Brander. Brander was drafted at pick 13 in the 2017 AFL draft by the West Coast Eagles. Brander only managed 22 games for West Coast before being traded to GWS and adding another 5 games for a grand total of 27 AFL games. But given that the likes of Zach Bailey, Noah Bolter, Sam Taylor and Bailey Fritsch were all drafted after Brander, this pick doesn't look great in hindsight. The Eagles did end up winning the 2018 premiership, but any of these players would probably have been useful right about now for West Coast in their quest to not win back-to-back wooden spoons. Number 6 is Matthew Scharenberg. Scharenberg was drafted at pick number 6 by Collingwood in the 2013 draft. Scharenberg was plagued by cruel injuries throughout his career, suffering 3 ACL injuries across his 6 years in the league. However, through these injuries, Scharenberg did manage to play 41 AFL games, but given his high draft pick, Collingwood would have been hoping for more out of him. Scharenberg was drafted before stars of the competition in the 2013 draft, including Patrick Cripps and Christian Salem. Number 5 on the list goes to Matthew Ling. Matthew Ling was drafted at pick 14 in the 2017 AFL draft by the Sydney Swans. Whilst Ling may have been drafted 1 spot after Brander, he has the honour of beating him on this prestigious list instead. Although Matthew Ling may have better hair than his namesake in Cameron Ling, he certainly didn't have his football playing ability. Matthew Ling only played 4 games for Sydney across 4 seasons and unsurprisingly was also drafted before the aforementioned stars of our competition from the 2017 AFL draft. Coming in at number 4 is Nathan Freeman. Freeman was also drafted in the 2013 draft, taken by Collingwood at pick number 10. Freeman didn't play a single game for Collingwood and only managed 2 AFL games for St Kilda after an injury-plagued career, most notably due to repeated soft tissue injuries. Freeman also shares the honour of being taken before the already mentioned stars of the 2013 draft, but can also say he was drafted before 2018 AFL Grand Final winner Dom Sheed, who I'm sure Pies fans hold no ill feelings towards. Winning bronze medal for this list and coming in at number 3, it's Paul Ahern. Paul Ahern was selected by GWS in the 2014 draft at pick number 7. Ahern only managed 22 games of AFL, none of which were for GWS, but rather North Melbourne, after he was traded there in 2016 for pick 69. Talk about a player holding their value. The names drafted after Ahern include Peter Wright, Liam Duggan, Jake Lever, Kyle Langford, Tuke Miller, and Braden Maynard, so no one special. Finishing runner-up and going home with the silver medal, number 2 on the list goes to Fisher Mackesy. The most recent draftee on this list, Mackesy has already retired from AFL level after being picked up by the Adelaide Crows at pick 6 in the 2019 AFL draft. Mackesy only played 10 games for the Crows, all in the COVID-affected 2020 season. Mackesy was drafted before Hayden Young, Caleb Sarong, Kysaiah Pickett, and Will Day. Whilst it is only early doors, the Crows will have serious regrets about taking Mackesy at such a high pick, when so many other players around him have established themselves as future stars of the competition. And winning the gold and being pick number 1 on this list is a draft bust, which I cannot believe is not more talked about. It's Jared Pickett. Jared Pickett was selected at pick number 4 in the 2014 AFL draft. Pickett never played a game for GWS in only 2 seasons at the club, before being traded to Carlton in 2016. Pickett then only played a further 17 games of AFL for Carlton before being released from his contract during the 2019 season. Pickett was taken 1 spot before Jordan De Goey, as well as the other mentioned stars of the 2014 AFL draft. So there you have it, sports fans. If this list shows you anything, it's that your dreams can be crushed just as quickly as they are realised. If you have any other video ideas you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. And it would really mean a lot if you could like, subscribe, and share this video with any other mates who love AFL. Until next time, stay frothy. Thanks for watching.